Today we are doing a hardcore Nuzlocke on Pokemon Rascal Ruby. Rascal Ruby is a fan-made version of the game Rising Ruby, designed for the YouTuber Sephiron by his community. In other words, this guy. One of my colleagues told me to play it, because he wanted to see me play it. I honestly think he just wanted to see me suffer. But whatever. Before we start, some quick things. There are no documentations for this game, so I try my best to write down everything I found about the game. Documentation, link to Pokemon changes from Rising Ruby, and Sephiron's channel are in the description. Plus, for disclaimer, I think up to the 6th, 7th, 8th attempt I played blind, got to the 6th gym, and after that I started to play with documentation as good as possible at least. First, we have to decide our starter. We can choose between Zorua, Togepi or Beldum. Togepi becomes a very dark type in this game, and evolves without friendship and becomes a Togekiss before the Watson fight. Actually really good and makes a good pick, especially of its coverage and good typing. Next is Beldum, which is by far the worst, at least as much I have seen yet. It didn't get any changes beside a new look and the ability Light Metal, which doesn't matter in 99.9% of the time in the entire run. Maybe Clear Body was too broken, huh? Last but not least, by far the best starter, and probably up until the late game, Pokemon Zorua. Not only did it get some insane buffs, it's also a ghost normal type, gets a new move in Pound, which is a special ghost move with base power 80 and can flinch and also freeze as its signature move. I know it sounds insanely broken, but hear me out. This is actually necessary up until Watson. Our first encounters are Fletchling and Spearow. Route 102 is very interesting, because you can meet every starter Pokemon up until Gen 6. We got Squirtle, which is probably S tier in this game, because of its getting Fake Out, Rapid Spin and Yawn. Ah, yeah, Daddy Norman forces us to help Wally catch his first Pokemon. Let's don't talk about the fact that he abandoned my mother and I, but hey, still Dad of the Year, right? Anyway, our next encounters are Wingull, obviously not Swallow, Phantom, Phanpy, and a Ghastly. Our first real battle is against the first gym leader Roxanne. Don't get me wrong, the boss fights in this game are actually challenging, at least most of them. Here's the reason why Zorua is so busted. It not only has Pound, it also gets Omnious Wind, which gives it a 5% chance to get an Omni boost. Sadly, in this fight we didn't get the chance to feel the power of that. But it doesn't really matter anyway. Zorua is plus speed, so luckily not even a lowered init would matter in this case. Anyway, this fight is just a massacre. Literally everything that happens is a freeze after freeze after freeze after freeze. Listen, this game is hard. Try to win this fight without Zorua. It's actually really challenging. Anyway, that's the first batch. Afterwards, we get a Miracle Seed, Silk Scarf, the Old Rod, a Staryu, Clampo, Clauncher, and an Aron, but sadly no plot. Let's get to the first run killer, Brawly. Apart from him being an actual bodybuilder, his team is stacked. I mean, literally stacked. Fake Out, Drain Punch, setups, and all that good stuff. Nah, jokes beside, with Togetic you can spam Drain Kiss and be most likely 90% HP up to his ace, even without thinking. Zorua is actually a really insane one, because you can simply lead with it, your last Pokemon is weak against fighting, and you can enjoy a free sweep. Plus, the AI always resets the knowledge of you being in disguise. So every time a new Pokemon comes in, it's like it doesn't know you're Zorua. In case of Medicham, simply attack. It normally goes for substitute or focus punch, so it's actually not a threat. Besides that, let's get to Mega Lucario. This thing is the actual run killer. Insane coverage, base points, and typing for that style of the game. You normally don't have a single Mom that can handle more than one attack of it. If it goes for Power Punch or Bulk Up, consider it just a wipe. Even with Zorua, there's always a 6% chance to die to this. See, you don't one-shot Lucario, and if it can use Metal Claw plus crits you, you're mostly fucked. Luckily, this time it didn't happen, unlike other runs, so we get to enjoy still our 0 deaths and 2 badges. After that, we get some plot. The white guy, literally, he's just white and blue. Tells us a story about primal beings and how strong they are. Currently, we don't care about that, but we happily take a Steel Wing. We get a Gulpin. On Route 109, you can get 2 insanely good encounters, Finion or Chinchou. Finion is good because it evolves into Luminion, which gives you a natural Rain Dance user. And why is that important? Because it's one of the few ways to handle a specific mon without having to sack something to win. We also can get a Chinchou, we can mostly solo Watts, if it's VA of course. I mean, if it would be VA. In 12 attempts, I got it 1 time. So much for that one, huh? After we defeat the Magma Grunts, we meet Daddy Maxi who introduces himself. Anyway, let's get to the second run killer, Mate 2. You see, May 2 has a Cypher, but not any Cypher. It's a Dark Bug Cypher with EV Light and buffed attack, defense, special attack, plus also has Dark Aura as an ability. It also has Sword Stance, so I recommend you ignore the other side on the field and try to hex it away. Try to fake out and cripple it. In this case, I tried Furious high damage output with Aerial Ace and fake out shenanigans. Oh yeah, the AI in double fights is really weird. Sometimes the AI attacks its own Pokemon. Apart from that, if you can handle Cypher more or less, the rest of May's team should be manageable. Togetic can be annoying with leftovers and draining kills, but with a Fairy Dark type, it has enough weaknesses. Plus, you also get enough resources to handle it. If you need an extra damage output, get into the House of Puzzles. You'll get an expert bell in there. You always try to get this Carvana, it has speed boost in this game. A no-brainer and correctly used a good sweeper for some fights. We also get a Farbeagle and Magikarp. Oh, Gyarados can have Moxie or Intimidate. This was actually the first run I got Intimidate. Oh boy, it's time for the first volley fight. He leads with a Fletchender. This thing is scary because it has acrobatics plus a flying gem. So we fake out and switch into Aron for the quad resist. Afterwards, we switch into Sarua, go for Pound and freeze it. Even after the Super Potion, we go for Pound and kill it. Meryl is next, where we simply switch into Trevenant. One Horn Leech is enough to one-shot Meryl. Next is Gibble. We predict the Shadow Claw and switch into Gyarados. We then spam Dragon Rage and defeat it. Last is his ace in Metang. We again go for Dragon Rage. While Metang goes for Iron Defense. Another Dragon Rage brings it near the end, while he screeches. One last Dragon Rage is enough to secure the win for us. What's in time? He leads with Electrode, which only knows electric moves. So we leave with Sarua disguised as Donphan. While he switches, we go for Omnious Wind. Another Omnious Wind against Luxio, and we kill. We do it again against this Fluffy and... Well, at this point, it's just a sweep. Nothing important happens anymore. AIs is always bad, and we get a 1-1 sweep against Watson. So, that's that. 3 badges, but still 0 bitches. Our next encounters are Litwick, Heatmore, Golett, Seviper, and Golbat. It's time for a scary fight. Terrafer and Magmagrunt versus May and me. Don't ask me why May has a normal Cypher on this one. Anyway, in this fight we have to handle the Manatan. You can imagine why this is scary. First, my plan was to defeat Mariana, bait and Weezing, and then clear the right side, so we only have to defeat the Manatan solo. The problem with that is that you kinda have to rely on the AI, which obviously will not work out as intended, at least in double fights. After May managed to defeat Weezing and bait in the Manatan, at least we didn't have to handle it in the sun, right? I tried to play around it with pivoting, but everything is always dead to crit. And at the end, we send in Crowitzer, it nearly dies to Flare Blitz and Dig. We go for an Aqua Jet, don't hit the roll, and our nice AI focuses Onyx instead of the Manatan, so Crowitzer dies. Well, that's the first loss. Starmie handles the Manatan, after that it's a win. But trust me, it won't get bad after that. Now we are going for the revenge on Tabitha. He leads with Mariana and we go for Crobat with Acrobatics. I didn't know it had Thunderfang, so we spam Giga Drain until it's defeated. He sends in Weezing, we switch into Starmie, dodge 1 crit, and O-Code with Psychic. Next is a Snorlax, which gets completely walled by our Lairon. Yes, it takes ages to defeat, but it gets the deal done. Last, it's again the Manatan. We switch into Huntail, bait the Hammer Arm, switch into Lantern, outspeed it now, and kill it with Bubble Beam. How does that taste? Magma Boss. Now it's time for Maxi. We lead with Starmie and once again O-Code the Golbat with Psychic. Next is Lampant with Focus Sash. So we switch into Sarua, dodge the Shadow Ball, pound it 2 times, and defeat it. His Houndoom counters us, so we send in Blastoise, Fake Out, and spam Water Pulse. After that, Camerupt comes in. I didn't expect it to tank Water Pulse, but luckily we didn't crit. One switch into Starmie, then we switch into Crobat, where it for whatever reason Quick Claw procced, but whatever, and kill it with Air Slash. Last is Pupitar, which gets destroyed by our 4 times weakness Giga Drain. Gotta say, Maxi is more handleable than Telfer, no cap. Oh, we also got a Pineco and the egg for a Snivy instead of the egg with the Wynot. Our next gym battle is against Fennery, and the team is stacked. She leads with Heatrock, Drought, Ninetales, so I simply pivot between Blastoise Fake Out, Crobat for Solar Beam, and back into Blastoise for Overheat. We do that until it's -6 and the sun is over. Afterwards, we try to make it fall asleep so we can safely switch in Sharpedo. Then we go for a Waterfall and kill it. Next is a Delphox, which also gets O-Code. Talonflame has Scale Wings, so we have to switch into Cold King. We tank a Brave Bird, but now we have to dodge one more crit. It attacks and crits. Of course. Well, next is Starmie, we tank one Brave Bird and then kill it with Rock Jump. 3 times Bubble Beam onto the Shell Smashing Torkoal, 2 Bubble Beams onto the Magma, and 1 on the Ace Mega Camerupt. That's 4 badges. Next, we get Sandstorm, a Baltoid, and an Anorith. There's not much to do between the 4th and 5th gym, so let's get straight to Norman. We start off with Sandstorm and Rock Slide. The Ambipom fake outs us, but X-Blood hits it with a T-Bolt, so what the fuck. Then we go for Earth Power onto Ambipom, where X-Blood defeats it with Boom Burst. Afterwards, we hit it with a massive Rock Slide onto X-Blood. Next comes in his Slacking. I predict he will go for the Rock Slide, so I switch Omoldo into Aggron, but it went for Retaliate onto X-Blood. Claydol hits another EP onto the Slacking. Staraptor comes in next and will likely go for Close Combat onto Aggron, so we switch into Tomfan, tank it and go for another EP on Slacking, which procs his Citrus Berry. Norman goes for Sky Attack but misses because of Donphan's Zen availability. I actually never expected this to be useful. We Psychic and Rock Smash the Slacking, and after another Rock Smash and Sandstorm, we defeat it. Next is Miltank. We switch Claydol into Aggron and I shot the Staraptor, where it goes for a U-turn onto his Miltank. And switched into the most useless Mega Pokemon in this game, Mega Kangaskhan. Don't get me wrong, it's a good Pokemon, but with only normal attacks as coverage, it's more or less worthless against our team. Anyway, that's it. There's nothing else to report on. With those mons on the field, we simply can just steamroll and take an easy win for this. I'd say that's 5 badges and 0 deaths. Oh wait, it's not 0 deaths, it's 2, right? Next, we get an Audino, Krabby, Finneon, a Shelder, Cryogonal, Dratini, and a Goodrod. Before we finally can get Citrus and Lumberries, we meet Steven. But the meetup is quickly interrupted because Latios needs some help. We are following Latios to Latios on the southern island, where we just get disrupted by Team Magma. Once again we are meeting Mommy Courtney and have to fight the 2v2 with Steven. But simply put, it wasn't that big of a problem. We land with Starmie, use Drain Dance, dodge 1 crit, and spam Surf. Nidorino survives one, but it just goes for Toxic Spikes, so who cares, right? Anyway, with Zangoose and Charizard on the field, it's best to switch into Blastoise, while Arceus just O-Coast Charizard with Rock Tomb. The rest of the fight is done after we use Surf on Magcargo. Afterwards, we get a Dark Dragon type Latios, which we name Sephiron. Oh, yeah, we got a Quagsire. Woohoo. It's again time to beat the shit out of Telfa. He leads with Mariana. We start with Fortress and set up 2 layers of spikes for potential Focus Sash users. Afterwards, we switch into Aggron. As you can see, Mariana spams Sucker Punch and Swagger, so we switch between Fortress and Aggron until it stops using Swagger or Sucker Punch. In between, we pull out a layer of Toxic Spikes, and at the end, we played into the Iron Tail, which Mariana missed, and we defeated with Fortress. Next is the Manatee, so we switch into Blastoise. We tank a Flare Blitz, use a Fake Out and do some chip damage. Then we go for a Surf and we literally survive the crit with 1 HP. This Blastoise is really trying to be the MVP of this run, not gonna lie. Next is Wheezing, which doesn't negate the toxic spikes thanks to its levitate ability. We switch into Gengar and go for 2 Shadow Balls. Next is Gigalith, where we just switch in Golok and eat the big Stone Edge. After all, we outspeed, and after 3 Drain Punches we defeat it. Afterward, he sends on Snorlax, which gets still pretty hard walled by our Aggron even though we had to get some shit done with Mighty Hammer. So, same thing as last time on the Volcano. We fight until it's over, and last but not least is his Camerupt with Focus Sash. I mean, it would have Focus Sash, but after all the layers, I don't think it works anymore. We switch into Luminion and defeat it with a single Smurf. Bye bye Tabitha. We don't get much breathing time because we are jumping right into the next big time round killer, May 3. She leads with her Cypher and we go in with Aggron. Our plan is to Rock Slide, Iron Head and again Rock Slide. Unluckily, we actually crit with Iron Head, so now we have to hope she doesn't set up too much. Luckily, except of missing 1 Rock Slide, even at +4 she still can't one-shot us. But thank god this thing is done, I hate it with every urge in my body. Next is a Raichu, where we pivot into Golok to dodge a Focus Blast, tank a Surf and OHKO it with Earthquake. Afterwards, Wailord comes in, where we switch into Trevenant. We go for a Horn Leech and recover, but the second Ice Beam freezes. Luckily I was prepared for that, and the Lime Berry saved us. Now comes in the next threat, Togekiss. I'm gonna tell you once again why you don't wanna take Togepi as the starter. Question. Do you want to face a weakness policy Metagross? No? I think the same. Anyway, at the end we have to sack Swallow, but can, thanks to Toxic, defeat it at the end. Last is Breloom, where we revenge it 1 time, switch into Trevenant, go for a Will-O-Wisp, and then proceed to spam Horn Leech until we win. Man, even though we only lost 1 Mon, Man is always so scary and she's probably the most annoying AI fight in this game. No joke. Our next encounters before a 6th gym are Kecleon, Rufflet and Noibat. It's time for Venona. Let's just say this is the 2nd attempt I managed to get past her. She's the next run killer. And no, trust me, not every boss fight is a pure run killer. Anyway, I was preparing for this fight a long time, but then I realized something. While I was streaming the previous attempts, I always talked about how good Cloyster with Shell Armor is. Well, that wasn't until I managed to get one past Brawly with Skill Link. See, with Skill Link, if you have a multi-hit move like Bullet Seed, Icicle Spear, Rock Blast, etc., if you connect the first attack, it always hits 5 times. And Cloyster is one of the mons that learn Shell Smash. You see where I'm going? You can literally go for 1 Shell Smash and already outspeed and 1-rotate every Pokemon of Venona. So yeah, that's that. If you get Shell with Skill Link, for the love of god, don't risk it. It's a guaranteed sweep against her, maybe not if you're minus speed, but apart from that you should be fine. Our next encounters are Mariana, Sudowoodo, Lydian and Nidorina. Here comes the final May fight. After this we can finally get some good TMs and items. She leads with the Cypher, so this time we lead with Talonflame. We go for Brave Bird, which doesn't kill and also low rolls, but another one luckily kills it. Next is Breloom, where we go as well for Brave Bird. The next Pokemon is Raichu, so we switch on the Golok, tank a Surf and one-shot it with Earthquake. Same as last time, he sends in Wailord, so we switch on the Trevenant and spam Horn Leech until it's done. Next is Sylveon. I predict it goes for Reflect, and even if it attacks 8 critters we should be fine, so I go for Leech Seed. After that, we go for Horn Leech and then switch into Aggron. We tank a Hyper Voice and Protect, so we can stall out some HP. After that we go for Iron Head and defeat it. Last is her Togekiss. She goes for Nasty Plot while we Iron Head. We don't know what she's going for next, so we send in Kecleon and go for Fake Out. It doesn't kill, but Sucker Punch is enough to secure us the win. Finally a Deathless May. As you can see, afterwards we get some good stuff in a shopping mall. And a Lomomola, Jellicent, a Big Root, an Eviolite, Gyarados Sight, and a Colossus, until we finally meet Maxi. But of course, he doesn't want to fight. He rather lets his mistress once again fight us. Man, this guy is so lucky, no joke. Anyway, we leave with Stami and go for Rain Dance. I, once again, forgot it had Horn Drill, but luckily we dodged a crit there. Afterwards, it's literally a sweep, what can I say. Even the Passion Berry rock solid Rapiria is no match for our little star. Well, so much for that, huh? Afterwards, our allies explain to us about the power of the stones, so we quickly look after Maxi. We follow him back to Slateport City, where we find him stealing his submarine. His grunts and airs trying to stop Maxi, but they were just pushovers, like most grunts if we are honest here. Now, we are moving straight to the Magna Hideout, where we straight go for Maxi. Before that, we have to face a 1v5. But if you leave a water tap that knows surfs, it's a freebie. Once again, we face Mommy. This time, I know she has Horn Drill, so I try to play around that. We leave a shelter and put a layer of spikes in the field, because we know they will have a focused sash user. Then we switch into Blastoise, and Rapidash goes for Wild Charge. We luckily didn't get crit and can apply a Yawn. Then we switch into Cloyster and go hard into Stami. Now we start to spam Surf. And now you might ask, why are you not using Rain Dance? Well, it's quite simple. Because we can OHKO everything with Surf, thanks to the item we're using. But the last Pokemon Charizard Y, which has the ability Drought, is a pain in the ass in that case. So we know she Megas and not speeds us with that. So we go for Rain Dance, because Drought applies first, where we deny her the Solar Beam one turn, and just one-shot it with another Surf. Well, that happens, we're on the wrong side, Courtney. Anyway, our next encounters are Electrode, Mantis, Swinub, Lapras, Relicanth, Corsola, and Loftus. It's time for Tate and Liza. We leave with Gengar and Braviary. Shadow Ball from Mega Gengar is always a kill on Espeon, but Braviary's close combat is not a guaranteed kill, and it sucks when you don't have a fighting type for this part of the fight. Anyway, next comes in Slowking, so we switch Chandelure in for Gengar and go once again for a close combat onto the Umbreon, while Umbreon heals and Slowking Psychics our Numon. After a third close combat, we finally defeat Umbreon. We don't deal any damage thanks to Reflect and sadly lose Chandelure to a Scald, which I didn't know the Slowking had. Rest in peace. Next, we switch on Blastoise while they send in Malamar. We fake out the Slowking and switch on Lumineon while Malamar Psychics Blastoise. Next, we switch Braviary back in and U-turn Malamar to get the Blastoise back in. We once again tank up Psychic on each side. We fake out the Slowking and close combat the Malamar. Now, we send Lumineon back and fly with Braviary. Next, we U-turn the Malamar, get in Loftisk and defeat Slowking with Fly. Their last mons are Houndoom Mega and Hydreigon. So we switch Braviary into Lumineon and Moonblast Hydreigon for the OHKO. At this point, it's a done deal. We surf the Houndoom, tank a critical Dark Pulse on Lumineon, U-turn out, send in Blastoise, and defeat it. Not only do we get Calm Mind, in the German hack version we are now allowed to also catch another Pokemon Route 106. We got a Trico, so whatever, it's not that good in this game at least. But before that, we see a big laser thing from the depths of the ocean, so Steven explains everything to us and what we have to do to save the world. Before that, we catch a Dragalge, I can't pronounce this thing, Seadra and a Tyrantrum. Well, after defeating all the Magma Grunts, it's time for Maxi. But before that, we see him demolish Archie, so now it's our turn, I guess. First, we leave with Tyrantrum and set up Stealth Rock. Next turn, Crobat goes for Sunny Day while we Rock Slide. He full restores into our switch. I stupidly use Fake Out, even though it could have Inner Focus, but luckily it Infiltrator. Never punished. Next, we go for a Yawn to stall out the sun, but before that we have to tank a Brave Bird. Afterwards, we switch on Tyrantrum, tank another Brave Bird, and defeat it with a Rock Slide. Next is Tyranitar with Sandstream. We switch Wailord into its Blizzard and then use Dive after it Stone Edges us. Another round and dodging a crit, and we defeat it. Next is Houndoom. We switch Kingdra in, tank an overheat crit. Nice damage by the way. Next we tank a Dark Pulse, but are finally able to apply Rain Dance. From this point, it's a sweep. None of his Pokemon can survive Kingdra's Surfs, especially with the previously applied Stealth Rocks and Surf boosted Rain Dance. Maxi claims he didn't lose and starts to revive the sleeping Growlon. Let's just say it had other plans and decided to destroy the world with a never-ending drought. Afterwards, Steven explains to us what we have to do, so let's do that I guess. Now back to Zootopolis, everyone tries to explain to us what we have to do, so we have to put up with that and we just do it. Now, the question is, how do we manage to defeat a mythical creature that's known for being able to destroy the entire world if it wants to... Oh yeah, right, Master Ball. That was something, I forgot. Alright, while we were helping to solve the problem in New Marvel, we got a Porygon. It's time for the last gym battle against the water expert, Wallace. My plan was to literally sweep Porygon Z, because with 2 nasty plots and full HP, it's capable of defeating 5 out of 6 mons except of his Mega. Well, let's just say I didn't know Politoed had the move Hypnosis or Focus Blast. It hit like 4 or 5 times and also managed to hit every single Focus Blast. Plus, for whatever reason, every time we managed to make it sleep with Yawn, it slept less turns on average than our Pokemon. At the end, we managed to do a +4 with Porygon Z, but our team is already pretty weakened. Wallace Ludicolo gets one shot with Signal Beam, so at least that's done. The problem now is we can't handle Kingdra without being full HP, so we have to send an Electrode and tank a critical hit Hydro Pump, of course. We go for a Volt Switch, go into Kecleon and get again a Hydro Pump crit into our face. Luckily, we can go for Fake Out and get Chip Damage on. Afterwards, we go for Grass Knot while he goes for Rain Dance. I predict him going for a heal, so we go for another Grass Knot. Afterwards, a Sucker Punch puts him in a KO range, and luckily the Ice Beam doesn't crit nor freeze us. He again goes for healing, so now we're in a really bad position. So the only play we have is to sack something. We switch into Blastoise and eat a massive rain boosted Hydro Pump. Interestingly, this time a crit didn't matter, and it didn't crit. Thank you for your service, Blastoise. You were by far one of the biggest MVPs in this run. Next, we send in Kecleon in and go for another Fake Out. Afterwards, Kingdra uses a Rain Dance, while we go for the next Grass Knot. We have to go for a Sucker Punch, and if we don't hit the range, we are fucked. Luckily, Kingdra goes for an Ice Beam and again doesn't crit nor freeze us. This time, we finally can go for a Shadow Sneak and take this Mon down. Next in comes Wallace Jellicent, so we do the only right thing. We switch in Porygon Z and sack this useless piece of trash. The only way now to do this is to set up Sunny Day to weaken water attacks, which actually lets Porygon Z survive a Hydro Pump. We go for a Thunderbolt and crit, but it's not enough to take down the Jellicent, where it goes for an Ice Beam and takes our Weirdo down. Even though I hate this thing, it's really managed to do its best at the end. So rest in peace Porygon Z. Afterwards, we switch an Electrode, go for a Volt Switch and defeat the Jellicent while switching into Lantern. This part is rather boring, because we go for Thunder Wave and then spam Thunderbolt until Milotic is defeated. Never expected this thing to be not a little bit of a threat, to be honest. Last is his Mega Swarm part. We go for a Surf, but Wallace just brushes it off and destroys us with a single EQ. Thanks for your service, Lantern. The only play I'm seeing at this point is to send an Electrode and hope Explosion might deal some damage. But at the end, it didn't really matter. We got the damage out, but lost another Mon. Thank you, Electrode. Now, we send in Trevenant. Swampert goes for an Ice Punch, which it actually survives, but sadly it sleeps for another turn. We try it one more time, but Trevenant goes also down. Thank you for carrying us so often. Farewell, my friend. Last is our Kecleon. I actually tried to find a way to win this, but there are only 2 options. We hit a Fake Out and Sucker Punch, where one of them crits, otherwise we are done. Fake Out doesn't crit, so now we have to pray Sucker Punch kills, but I already lost hope, so... Well, Was a nice run. Fuck you, Porygon. Fuck you, Wallace. I don't know how we won. Kecleon hit a roll that wasn't even possible. Maybe the Swampert was minus defense nature? I don't know. Anyway, Kecleon didn't want to go down and wanted to revenge his friends. So, thank you Kecleon, thank you for keeping this run alive. Afterwards, we get our last two encounters. A Swabble in the Roaring Skies and a Machoke in the Victory Road. At the end of the Victory Road, we meet our final hill before reaching the Pokemon League. For the last time, we have to defeat our second rival, Wally. Trust me, this guy is really hard and can really give you an insanely hard time if you don't know what you're doing. He leads with Roserades and we go in with Fortress. He starts out with Petal Dance, while we go for a Lay of Spikes. Afterwards, we go for a Heavy Slam. Then we switch into Talonflame and go for the Quad Resist and one-shot it with Acrobatics. Next is his Stomper, Mega Garchomp. We pivot into Relicanth and then switch into Cryogonal for the predicted EQ. Afterwards, we add Speed and one-shot it with Ice Beam. Next is his own Talonflame, so we switch back into Relicanth to quad resist the Flare Blitz. Next he goes for Swords Dance, but it didn't really matter because a single Rock Tomb can destroy this thing. Afterwards he sends an Azumarill, so we switch into Fortress and tank a knockoff. Next, he goes for Awkward Tail, while we luckily survive and then go for a hard-hitting Heavy Slam. Then we switch into the most overpowered pick in this game, our Groudon. If you switch it in, it instantly changes to Primal Groudon with its insanely good ability Desolated Land. You know what this thing does? Wall attacks don't work, but the AI doesn't even know that. So simply put, AI is forced to go for another Awkward Tail because it's the most damaging move, while at the end Azumarill's water attacks are not working in the sun. At the end, a single Sun boosted Solar Beam defeats Azumarill. Next is his Magnezone. I realized if a Pokemon holds an air balloon, it doesn't break the sturdy with spikes because for whatever reason it doesn't work that way. But for whatever reason the AI simply goes for special attack boost while we Flamethrower. After 3 more, Magnezone goes finally down. Last is his Metagross, and he goes for whatever reason for a defense plus, but gets also one-shot by Flamethrower. So that's that. We defeated the last challenge. Now we are going for the Elite Four. So let's look at our team. After theory crafting for a long time, I managed to decide for those Pokemon. First, Altaria. Altaria is basically in this team for 3 reasons. First, as Mega Altaria, it's capable of one-shotting the first 3 months of Sydney. Second, it's a great pivot for the 3rd and 4th E4. Third, if you use the Mega Evolution correctly, you can abuse its flying into Fairy typing extremely good. Next is Gengar. As Mega Gengar, it's capable of sweeping half of Phoebe's team without a breathe. An even better pivot than Altaria, especially because of Levitate. And it's extremely fast and has high damage output potential. Next is Aggron. It won't be used as a Mega, but its resistance and pivot potential is by far the best in our team. It's the most needed pivot for Sydney, Glacier and Drake because of its Steel typing. And it's good for potential stalling with Protect. Next is Lufdisk. And you might ask, why Lufdisk? Well, it's an insane Pokemon in this game. Its base special attack got buffed from 40 to 100 and its base speed stat got buffed from 97 to 145, plus it got the typing Fairy in this game. So because of its Water and Fairy type plus the insane buffs, it can destroy and handle easily some of the biggest threats in Sydney's and Drake's team. Kecleon. Yeah, that's right, I'm gonna take a fucking Kecleon to the Elite Four. It got like small buffs, 20 HP, 10 attack and defense, but that's not the reason why it's so good. Normally, Kecleon changes its typing depending on the move it got hit with, but in this game it simply gets Protein, or rather Protein, sorry. Which means every move of Kecleon becomes Stab. With that, it can nearly solo Phoebe and also hits ranges that wouldn't be possible with the normal Kecleon. And it can, if you know what your opponent is going to use, literally only get hit by barely anything because of your potential switch of typing. So if you know what you're doing, you simply can negate insane amount of damage. Last but not least, Groudon. What do I have to say? At the beginning I didn't want to use it. The problem is we had literally a Heatmor and Talonflame, where both mons are not good against Glacier, so we went for Groudon. Let's just say this thing can make the E4 from hard to nearly easy. Why? It instant Mega Evolves so it can hold an item. Desolated Land negates every water attack, plus the AI doesn't even know that, so it still goes for water moves. So it actually spams water attacks even though they do nothing in the fight. Plus, because of its insane base attack, Earthquake, Eruption, Flamethrower hit insanely hard. Plus, it nearly sweeps Glacier. So that's our team for E4. Luftisk, Kecleon and Groudon are always a guaranteed catch. Altaria can be swapped out with a Pidgeot, also in Roaring Skies, and the Pidgeotite you get from the city south from New Morwell. You simply get it from a little girl, then you go to Deathcorp or Silphcorp, whatever, go to Mr. Troy and you get the Pidgeotite. And with that you get a No Guard, Hurricane, Mega Pidgeot, which can also deal insane amount of damage. You can get Gengar on several routes. You can also go for another ghost type. And instead of our Aggron, you can also go for Bastiodon, which can be found several times in the game. For example, a desert encounter most likely holds a fossil as item, and Fortress or whatever steel type you manage to find are also fine. Okay, let's just get into the end, or rather final, of Rascal Ruby. Nice drip, by the way, on the left hand. Man, my heart is pounding, no joke. So, with this plan, the first 3 Pokemon of Sydney should be done. Now, that's not the scary part about this fight, because I have to say this is probably actually the second most scary fight in this Elite Four. Why? Because the entire outcome, if this fight is actually easy or really hard, depends on in which order Sydney sends out his Pokemon now. If he sends a Tyranitar into the middle, that's bad. If he sends in Greninja though, it's an easy win. That's so good! That's so good! Oh my fucking god! Oh my god! Oh my fucking god! Sandstream doesn't matter. We don't attack Absol with our Luftisk. Our plan is to attack the Greninja, which gets outsped and one-shot by Luftisk. Now, because we are faster than Greninja, and we kill it, Greninja can't gangshot our Altaria here. And Tyranitar has no way of killing our Altaria with any move. Not even with Rock Slide crit, which is really good. But even if he thinks about using Rock Slide on our Altaria, it doesn't matter. Because it will always go for Focus Blast on our Kecleon here. No Sucker Punch. And this should always kill. Easy. That's so good. Greninja is by far the most scary mon on this field. If you know what you're doing. Even if you know what you're doing. Because Absol is like a joke. It's literally a joke. Especially the way City plays it. Municipality Magic Bounce is good. But it doesn't really matter. Like, if you know what you're doing and you know what the enemy is using. So, Absol is also dead. So you can see Tyranitar is nearly dead. Even though it's plus special defense now because of the Sandstream. Please go for Focus Blast. Oh no. Oh shit! Oh shit! That's by far the worst outcome possible. What the... I didn't expect this to happen, if I'm really honest here. Even though I didn't expect him to go for Ice Punch on Tyranitar, if I'm really honest here. But that's another story. Please, just work as I expected. Please. Please. Crunch, totally fine. And Iron Head should normally kill the Renter here. And even if it doesn't, we literally... Huh? Alright. And even if it doesn't, he goes for healing because we could literally go for Shadow Sneak next turn with Kecleon, which would kill it no matter what HP it is now. So even though I didn't expect Ice Punch on Altaria, that's Zero Death Sydney. And I'm really happy about it. Fuck. Even though I know it's literally a free win, if we don't get RNG'd here, it's still pretty scary. Okay, so first we literally Shadow Ball. We outspeed, it can do nothing against us, and we one-shot. There is one of the most scary Pokemon from Gen 6. Let me introduce Mega Gengar. Enjoy your Shadow Ball. Dusknoir is also fine, I guess. It's always dead to Shadow Ball. I wasn't really sure right now. Okay, it's always dead to Shadow Ball, so we should be fine. Now, normally I would just attack it. The problem with this Gengar is, as you can see, it's also Mega Gengar. Haha. The problem is, it's level 75, so it's one level lower. But if it's plus speed nature, it outspeeds us. And that's a risk I'm not willing to take. Because Gengar is still kinda useful, or rather needed, for the next fight. So we simply switch into Kecleon. Why do we do this? Well, it sees always a kill with Shadow Ball on us. And because we are normal type, it can go for Shadow Ball, but it doesn't deal any damage to us, which is really good. Now, it could go for Focus Blast when we go for Sucker Punch. Or we make the tricky move and go for Shadow Sneak, which makes us become a Ghost type as well, so Focus Blast doesn't hit us here. Why did he go for Sludge Wave here? Focus Blast deals double the damage. I mean, I don't mind. We just go for Sucker Punch and we kill it. I mean, it's actually really bad now. It's really bad. And actually, it's still good. It's still fine. It's still fine. Depending on which Pokemon she will use now. Because there's still 3 Pokemon left. And if we are lucky, it happens. So, the Eggy Slash, we are Sucker Punch. We Sucker Punched. So we are Dark type now. We go Shadow Sneak on the Eggy Slash because the only 2 moves. As far as I know, it has 2 moves. Sacred Sword and some Ghost Attack. So we Shadow Sneak again because we are Dark type, and obviously Sacred Sword will deal more damage on us than any Ghost Attack here, obviously. And then because he knows that, he goes for the Sacred Sword, which doesn't hit us whatsoever. Now, he could go for a Ghost Attack, which he probably will. But we simply go for Sucker Punch here and one-shot it. Because what is it doing against the 80 base power move, which is Stab, with physical states of Eggy Slash? Like, realistically, nothing, right? Like, nothing. And the next one is Channeler. So, normally we literally Sucker Punch the Channeler. So, now it's really important what's happening. We kinda have to pray that when we go for Sucker Punch here, this thing burns us. Because the Gengar should normally... Thank fucking god. Thank fucking god. We always kill with Sucker Punch here. But now the most important part happened. Because Sableye has 4 moves. Will-O-Wisp, Recover, Metal Burst, and Knockoff. Sableye will mostly go for Will-O-Wisp, because it's prank stability, or for Knockoff. But the good part is now, we have used our Lumberry, which means he can't knock off us. It makes more sense for the AI to go for Will-O-Wisp, or Metal Burst, or whatever. So now we don't have to be scared about sending in Love Disc. Why? Because if he for whatever reason knockoffs now, it's really scary. Because this guy isn't a one-shot with Moonblast. If we don't have the expert belt. And if we don't one-shot, there is a possibility he goes for Metal Burst. Thank fucking god he went for Will-O-Wisp. So now we literally pressed Moonblast, and that's 0 deaths Phoebe. Thank fucking god it worked the way I intended it to. Not. Well, this woman's so cursed, not gonna lie. What the fuck? Okay, so most of this fight is actually rather easy to play. So Auroras goes for Snore Warning. But this doesn't matter because we have goddamn Mega Groudon. Or Primal Groudon rather, sorry. Which is really good because we can use... Even though we use Primal Groudon, we can also use 1 Mega Evolution. So, Desolate Land is actually really insane in this fight. So, first, we EQ the Auroras. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, I'm sorry. Which is always a kill. Now, the AI is really weird in this fight. Because of Desolated Land. So, we outspeed the Walrein. But the AI sent Walrein specifically in because it's a water type. And should deal massive damage to our Groudon. Let's just see what happens, right? So we EQ. It doesn't kill, obviously. It goes to Surf. And it evaporated because we have Desolated Land on the field. So we press another time EQ. And Walrein is done. So that's that. So now, the thing is, I technically could sweep the entire fight with Groudon. But we have to risk some crits in here. And that's a thing I'm not willing to take, because we need Groudon for the champion fight, otherwise we lose. We just plain up lose. So, we know what Mamoswine will go for. It has Focus Blast, Icicle Crash, and Earthquake. I don't know if it's what's the 4th move is though. It will always go for Earthquake because it's stab and it's super effective against us. So, what are we doing? We are sending in our Gengar. Right. Yeah, we do that. We do that. He should always go for EQ here. Always. Yeah. So, we are Levitate. Now, the thing is, normally we had to pivot here to kill a Mamoswine. Or this Mamoswine would actually be really scary. But the thing is, it isn't. And do you wanna know why?
Well, because this thing is scarfed. So this thing has insane an insane init stat, but it can only go for EQ. And because we levitate, he's forced to stay in. So he will go Jinx because he knows Jinx can kill us. It's the only one that could potentially outspeed and kill us. But the problem is, we are attacking it. And it has a focus sash, which is really important. Why? I'm gonna show you. Now we are going for the Mega Evolution. Right, I had to double check it because this part of the fight is really crucial, otherwise we're in big trouble. So now we Mega and Shadow Ball it. Because as you can see, he goes for full restore, which doesn't matter because he doesn't have a focus sash anymore. So we outspeed and kill it. Now, the question is, why are we going for the Mega Evolution now and not before? First, sometimes the AI is weird with the switch in. So if we Mega, the AI could stay in an EQ. For whatever reason. I don't know. So, as you can see, he sends a Mamoswine again. And he can't go for Focus Blast. He could go for Icicle Crash, but it would make 0 sense because we are a Poison type and it's Step Earthquake. So what will it go? Well, I don't know, man. Probably Earthquake. And what are we doing in this case? Well, I think we're just sending Ontario, right? Or did I do just the biggest misplay in the entire series? Didn't I? Thank fucking god. The Mamoswine is Earth... Sorry, not Focus Blast, superpower. As you can see, this guy is now really fucked. So, what does this mean? Okay, so he sent in Frostless, which most likely goes for a Shadow Ball or a Yachi Berry or whatever, I don't know. It can go for Blizzard, Shadow Ball, or probably Destiny Bond, which is really scary. We are going now into Kecleon because we can tank an Ice move, plus we can handle a Shadow Ball and Destiny Bond, please. Thank fucking god. So, the thing is, this is really scary. Why? Because this Frostless has Destiny Bond. He always kills with Sucker Punch. Please. Easy. So, we are standing in our Gengar, which could be really bad now in case this guy went for EQ. Right. Thank fucking god. And this is now the core point. His last mon is a Mega. And the AI is programmed in a way it can't send in the Mega until all his other mons are dead. So in this case he's stuck in superpower, which means we just spam Shadow Ball here. Okay. I mean, there's one play in the entire fight which could completely fuck you up. That's the only problem. This guy. As far as I know, Glalie doesn't even have Explosion here. It has 3 straight Earthquake as far as I know. I mean, at least Prime Ground's ability is not broken. Right. Okay, so this was a non-step EQ. So we outspeed and flame for all kills. So that's 0 deaths. Glacier. So that's that, huh? Well, who wins? A guy who has control over the probably strongest type in the entire game, up until Fairy types got implemented, or one hard-shaped Pokemon. Or one hard-shaped fish. Okay. His lead Pokemon is Hydreigon. we always outspeed, and Moonblast is always a one-shot. So, first Mon easily done. Easily as fuck. Whew. Next one, which is really scary, Drajulj. Drajulj? I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, this one is the reason why we have the carrier barrier? Right. Because this thing normally would go for Sludge Wave on us. But we have the carrier barrier, and I still don't know if the AI knows which items we are holding. So there might be a chance. I'm not really sure. It's just, if we hold this item, there's a higher chance that this Drajulj goes for Thunder, which would be really good for us. Which means we can switch into Groudon and go for EQ. And you might wonder, but Schuster, why would you do that? Because he could literally switch on something else. Right? Yeah, he definitely does that. But as I mentioned before in the Glacier fight, the AI is really weird because it doesn't see Desolated Land as Desolated Land. It sees Desolated Land as Sunny Day. Let's put it this way. That's the Thunder. And why is this important? Because of that, we always outspeed and kill it with EQ. But the thing with that is, we could go for Stone Edge, but it gives us nothing because he could potentially go for Flygon. So if he goes for Flygon, we don't deal any damage with EQ, obviously. But this doesn't matter because the Kingdra he sends in. And why is he sending in Kingdra? Like I mentioned before, this guy, or the AI rather, doesn't know Hydro Pump doesn't work in this case. Which means we can go safely for EQ, and he thinks he can go for Hydro Pump, which doesn't matter by the way, and we kill it. Which means the next Pokemon he sends in, I don't even know what he's doing honestly. I don't know what he will send in. Oh yeah, right, Flygon, haha. Flygon is interesting because it's also choiced. Or choice banned, sorry. It can go for Outrage or for EQ, as far as I know. In this case, obviously it makes more sense to go for EQ. So we go into Altaria. Why? Well, it's rather simple. Because Altaria is a flying dragon type, and if he goes for EQ, we don't get any damage by that. Now, obviously, we could Mega Evolve and try to one-shot it. But there's no point in that because it's choiced. Which means we can literally stay in and go for Dragon Pulse. Obviously, it would make more sense to go Mega Evolution and then use Hyper Voice. Dragon Pulse deals more damage onto the Flygon. And why do I know that? Well, obviously, as far as we know about the AI, they switch if they can attack. We go for Dragon Pulse. Why? First, he cannot attack anyway. Plus, if we go for Mega Evolution and he stays in, because AI sometimes does it if we Mega Evolve, we don't get damage from EQ, so he's forced to switch. And all Pokemon he has are weak to Dragon Pulse. See, sometimes he just stays in, and I don't know why. The AI is super weird when it comes to this. So now he might switch. Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know. And now comes into Drajulj, I guess. Yeah. Because he sees a kill with Sludge Wave. But we are faster. Oh yeah, rather right. Now we are actually going for the Mega Evolution. The little damage we get from EQ from it doesn't really matter. And normally, I just say I stay in and attack Dragon Pulse. But the problem is we have to at least mid-roll 2 times. As you can see, we mid-rolled right now. So there's a chance we low or high roll. So that's the possibilities right now. And I rather go for Mega Evolution to Dragon Pulse and tank damage from Flygon's EQ. I mean, we could also go for Gengar. Wait, actually, can we? I mean, Gengar should always be able to outspeed Hexorus, right? And we also two-shot it. We Dragon Pulse here. Wait, this is Iron Tail? Interesting. So now we are actually in trouble. Well, so much for Drake is the second easiest one. Okay, now in comes the Hexerus. It only gets risky if you like... I don't know, this is now really cringe. Please just don't go for Dragon Dance. Please just go Poison Jab, please. Oh shit. Okay, now we're in trouble, boys. I don't like where this is going. I really don't like where this is going. And the thing is, now it outspeeds us. Okay, EQ is fine. We are not at the crit here. Oh shit. Yeah. Now the problem is he could heal. And as I said, we can't really risk it. Morty is sackable here. Heal or IQ, please. Fuck! Okay. So now we have to pray he doesn't get the high roll, because there's a 30% chance we die here. Okay, so the only way we win this now is if he doesn't high roll us. If he does, we're in trouble. We have to Shadow Ball, and the only way we win this now is if he doesn't high roll crit us, or we high roll crit. What? Oh no. He has Outrage. I didn't know that. Wait, that's actually... Gengar? Thank you. But why did I say it has... Oh yeah, right, I predicted it to have that, right. Because I didn't know it. So this means Love Disc is actually smurfing on this now. Even though it has the Caviar Berry. I mean, it does like nothing to us, right? So we literally go for this and go 2 times Moonblast here. We could also go for Ice Beam here, actually. The problem is it has a Rosalie Berry. So I think actually, I don't know if he's forced to go for another turn of Outrage here. That's the problem. I mean, I know he has to use one more Outrage, but I don't know if he's forced to use it even though it doesn't hit us. So I think the best way is to actually go for Ice Beam, because in case we freeze it, we are super fine. Wait, we outspeed? What? What? How do we outspeed this? Wait. It's minus speed nature. Problem is, if I knew that, I could have actually played it different. The only problem now is that we don't have a counter for Snorlax because we lost Gengar here. Because I didn't know it has Outrage. I'm so mad. But hey, fan-made game, but there are no dogs for that, honestly. Why not? Anyway, as long as Salamence isn't plus speed nature, we one-shot this. So for the love of God, please, don't be plus speed. Please. Yeah. Okay, so apparently it's plus special defense nature. Wait, even then it would kill. What the fuck? I'm confused on so many levels right now. Why didn't this kill? Oh. Ah. So actually high rolled here. Interesting. Never mind, forget what I said. Nice freeze. Doesn't matter though. Thanks Loftus that he didn't get crit here, even though I think it was like 111 damage. See my crit, wouldn't have killed us here. Well, I gotta say, if I had dogs I would have won this with Deathless, but like, what do I know? What do I know? Okay, so we Mega Altaria and Dragon Pulse this fucker. Okay, metal, I like it. I like it, I like it. Fuck Dragonclaw. Crit. Okay, Surge. Airballoon popped, easy. We have to spam Dragon Pulse here, obviously. It can go for Flare Blitz or Roost. Okay, easy. No damage on Altaria, that's really good. So, Dragon Pulse kills now. So, now comes the scary part in this. Now comes the scary part which decides if we have to sack something or we're Gucci. The next Pokemon of Troy, his strongest Pokemon, is Eternal Floette. And this will always go for Lights of Room. If it hits, we have to sack something. Probably aggro. If it doesn't, we're in a really good position here. So let's just hope it doesn't happen. Hehe, right, right. Oh, and you can't tell me I'm not allowed to use this against that one, right? Miss? Fuck. I mean, we don't take that much damage. So it's fine, even though it's like 100, I don't know, base power. We always got speed and EQ should normally kill here. Groudon, just Hero, please. 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 Easy. I believe in you, Groudon. You can do this. So, now comes the Snorlax in, which is really scary, by the way. So, the problem with this now is, we have to send in Kegler, because he always goes for EQ here. Now that I think about it, it would have made way more sense to actually send in something else. Oh no, oh no! Thank God. We fake God here. Okay. Now the problem is, we are already at his HP. At least he didn't para us here, so that's really good. Kecleon now is kind of fucked, I guess. Because we always did the Giga Impact here. So, he must go for Giga Impact here, right? 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 Easy. No! You piece of shit! You fucking donkey! And I gave you a Citrus Berry. Oh my fucking god! Yeah, well. Well, Aggron. The only play I'm now seeing is we protect and try to get out the EQs here. That's the only way I'm seeing you kind of surviving this. So that's the first EQ. I'm not expecting to kill this with Aggron, obviously. We are never dead. We are dead to most EQ crits here. We aren't happy because we also got speed. Maybe we flinch, I don't know. That's the thing I'm playing for right now. Of course he doesn't flinch. We shouldn't die to this. Thank fucking god. Citrus Berry coming in clutch, boys. We again obviously go for... But no, actually it doesn't make sense. We just stall out time here, right? And try... So we just try again, obviously. We just try it again. Please go EQ. Thank you. We shouldn't die to this. Thank god. So now the problem is, I don't know if we actually like bait Giga Impact here. I mean it should, in theory. Crit would be nice. Nice damage, oh my god. I love the fact that Kekleon is buffed in this game. Actually... Nah, we can't. Because there's always a chance to go for Body Slam now. We have to go Aggron here. We might have to sack Aggron here. Sadly. Come on, Giga Impact. Yeah. Please, you need to survive it. Please. Aggron, you redeemed yourself right now. Because... Wait. No, fuck. We have to attack. We have to attack because he has to now recharge one turn. Then we go back into Imposter, which normally should survive. EQ here and EQ here. Yeah. And if he goes for rest, this is really good because then we can send a Groudon which two-shots it. So we just go for Iron Head here one time. Wait, actually, nah, it's too have on range, I guess. This looks too much of a range for me to hit. I mean, actually, we can literally just go Protect here. Because it doesn't change anything. Yeah. Yes. That's so good. Because he has leftovers and not just a berry. That's over. Snorlax is dead. So we're going to Gaia here. He also sleeps another turn. So we just EQ it. So Snorlax is done. This was the highest roll, by the way. Now the scary part is... his next Pokemon. EQ here. The next problem will be if he now sends in his Heracross. I mean, we are not dead to any crits here. So we can literally go for Flamethrower here. And we always outspeed. So now, burn, burn, please burn. Fuck. But it doesn't matter, we're never dead to crit here. And it doesn't have any move that outspeeds to make it outspeed us. So Flamethrower always kills and even waits the full restore here, so that's fine. Okay. So he has only 2 months left, which are Venusaur and Blastoise. So normally I would just stay in because he goes for Leech Seed or Protect here. The problem is I think actually we have to stay in here, right? Wait, no, we always kill it. No, wait, we don't, because for every reason this thing is thick fat, right? I'm willing to sack Altaria here. I'm willing, and you will see why. We send an Altaria. It most likely goes for Protect here. Most likely. Or Leech Seed, whatever. Doesn't really matter. I have a safe way to kill this thing. Protect, easy. By far the best thing that could happen. Now, we go for Perish Song. Because if this thing does anything that doesn't kill us here, we won. Why? Because Sludge Bomb can only crit kill us here. Right. So, as you can see, we have the counter here. So he should go for another Sludge Bomb or Protect here. And now you might wonder, but Schuster, can't he just switch out at the Perish Song at count 1? No, he can't. Because the AI is programmed in a way that it can't switch out. If the other last Pokemon is, well, as you can see, a Mega, or rather his Mega. So we simply protect here, and he goes for Giga Drain, or Leech Seed, or whatever, it doesn't matter. So we simply send in Kecleon. Wait, what? He can do that? Well, that's really bad, not gonna lie. Well, I didn't know this is possible. That's kinda bad, not gonna lie. It doesn't really matter. We just go for Fake Out here. We just get a chip damage on. Well, I tried to be smart, but the game outsmarted me. And it goes to Protect, okay. That's actually fine. Okay. As far as I know, the only moves this thing has is Scald. Like, literally, it only has Scald. So we can't send in Gaia and just kill it. And the good thing is we didn't get any damage. So, I mean, we are kind of in a bad situation because Venusaur is still on the field. And we have no way of handling it. It has Skull Bash. Oh no. Why is it Skull Bash? What? I mean, it does nearly nothing to us. Yeah, we just go aggro here. Because Skull Bash does literally nothing to us. And now he normally should attack us here with Scald, because he has no other move to kill us with. Please AI, don't be weird, please, please. There's the Scald, easy. No wait, he can't because AI doesn't know it, right? Yeah, AI doesn't know it. So we literally can spam EQ here, and it can't do anything against it. Yeah. He might heal you also. Yeah, that's fun. Okay, 5 more downs, 1 more to go. 1 more to go, guys. 1 more to go. Okay, and the last one is Venusaur. Please just protect, please. Please, 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 please. But it's fine, it's fine. I mean, it's not really fine. Not really. Yeah, that's why. Because Black Sludge. I mean, we can go Mr. Stone here, because he has to go with Sludge Bomb here. And it's actually the safest play here, because we can't sack Aggron here, because we need Kecleon always for the Elite Four. And Aggron is just a pivot. We don't really need it to fight if we have to sack it here. I expect him to go Protect or Leech Seed here. Okay, Sludge Bomb, easy. Next turn he should always go for Giga Drain, which is handleable for Kecleon. Just, please, just. Oh no. I mean, we can handle it. Okay, so literally there was no point in doing this entire thing here, right? Right? Okay. But actually that's super fine. We could potentially hex it away. That's Sludge Bomb easy. The thing is, now he goes for Giga Drain again. Well, Aggron, was nice knowing you. Drain did that. Was nice knowing you. Yeah. We just have to play into the crit, sadly. It was the play from the beginning. My bad, Aggron, I'm sorry. In both cases it's a kill, if we EQ and then Flamethrower, right? Okay, it was a crit, no mind. I just want to say, like, what the fuck. Ah, we lost 2 months. But I mean, it's fine. We don't need them for May. Well, after we defeated Steven and became the champion of the whole region, May wants to fight us one last time. But to be honest, I'm not gonna talk about this fight because we can literally sweep it with Altaria into Groudon. So that's that. At the end, I'd say it was a fun experience to play this game. I kinda enjoyed it at the end. And if you wanna play it, documentation for the game in general from Rising Ruby are in the description. I also put in documentation for Pokemon Rascal Ruby for all the boss fights, mostly where I was capable of finding the TMs they are using, the items, the movesets, etc. I hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see each other in the next time, I guess, or in the next video. I don't know, I'm really bad at moderating the end of a video, so have a good one. Bye. Oh yeah, I'm a YouTuber, I have to do that. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and all that stuff. Bye!